Jai Hind to all. This is Chelsi Sen, Assistant Professor in IT Department, AKGEC, Ghaziabad. Today we are going to discuss about the cloud computing architecture and various basic concepts of the cloud computing. So, first of all, just discuss what is the cloud computing architecture. It is having a different components. As we know that the cloud computing technology is used by both the large and the small organizations to store the information in the cloud and to access it from anywhere at any time using the internet connection. So, cloud computing architecture is a combination of service oriented architecture and the event driven architecture. Means it provides the various services and various events in which triggers and which responds to the particular services. So, it is basically divided into the two parts. First is front end, then the back end. So, cloud computing architectures is basically in the form of the client server architectures, in which we are having the various clients and the various servers. Means the client requests for the particular services and the servers provide the various services. So, like that only, it is divided into the two parts, that is the front end and the back end. So, this is the below the diagram shows in the architectures. This is the diagram. So this is the basic diagram of the cloud computing in which we are having a front end. This is the front end part. This is the back end part in which various components are available over here. In the front end part, we are having a client infrastructure which provides the various type of infrastructure facilities like what's the client is, from where the client is accessing the data and sending the request to the server. This is the backend part where the service providers handle this backend part. It provides the various type of security, applications, services. It provides the runtime environment. It is also providing the storage where we can store the large amount of data. As we know that the cloud computing having the various benefits related to the storage facilities, infrastructure facilities, without any installations, without any moderations, it provides the various services. So it provides the infrastructure, it provides the platform, it provides the various application services. So these are the various advantages we can say of the cloud computing. Now, talking about the various component of the cloud architecture of this cloud computing, these are the basic architecture. Hope you got that. This is the front end part through that the client is accessing the particular thing. It is as you all that you can see that it is in the form of a client server architecture. We can consider the front end as a client, and it can be a server, and cloud computing is acting as a service provider. Service provider means client requests for particular services and the server responses for the various services. Like it can provide about the platform as a service, software as a service, various services. And all this backend part handles the management. Means management about what? Regarding the services, what services client had accessed, requested for that. So all that particular information is handled through the backend part, through the various languages, through the storage. It provides the runtime environment. So this is how the cloud computing architecture works. So talking about the front end, it is used by the client. It contains various client interfaces. Client interfaces means as we know that we can access any particular services through the particular interface. Like we are having a mobile application, so it is having an interface. Through that only we can access the particular services. There's the best example of mail services that we can access mail through our mobiles, through our laptops. So it provides an interface through which we can connect to the backend services or web servers. So it that are required to access the cloud computing platforms. The front end also includes the web servers. Web servers means through which we can access the particular information. It can also include the different browsers, like it can having a browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and many more. So it can be accessed through the Like we can access through the tablets, we can access through the mobile devices, we can access through the PCs, laptops. All these are coming into the front end part. So these are the client side interfaces. These are the client side interfaces. Hope you have got the front end part. Now it also contains about the backend. As we know that the cloud computing architecture is having the two parts, that is front end and the backend. Front end we have already discussed. Now talking about the backend, it is used by the service provider. Means who is providing the services, like the cloud computing services provider, like Microsoft Azure. Different companies provide the different services. So what the backend in the what the process behind the backend services? It manages all the resources. It manages all the resources provided to the cloud computing services. Means or whatever the resources are required are managed by the backend part. It also includes the use amount of data storage. As we know that the cloud computing having a very big benefit is data storage facility. It provides the large amount of storage facility in the Gmail. In basically, we know that the Gmail provides the 15 GB of data. After that, if you want to use that, you can pay for that and you can use the particular data storage. So after paying the amount, you can access the large amount of data. Means however how much amount you need it, you can get the amount data storage through the particular service provider. It also provides the security and how the mechanism is followed at the backend. So it manages all these particular things. It is also having a part of virtual machines where we can where we can show the different VMs. We can deploy different modules and servers. It also controls the traffic control mechanism. So in the backend, it manages all the resources related to the traffic control. Many requests are coming, how to handle that mechanisms. So this is coming under your backend part. It is also considering about the deploying of the models. Deploying of the models means which modules you want to deploy, which application you want to install. All these processes are coming in the backend part. This is how the two parts are divided in the cloud computing architecture. Let's discuss about the different architecture and the components of this particular computing architecture. As we already have discussed, this was the basic diagram. This was the diagram in which we are having a different components like the client infrastructure, internet, application, service, runtime environment, storage, infrastructure, security, and the management. So we will discuss all these components one by one. Now, coming to the components, this is the client infrastructure. Client infrastructure is provided into the front end component. Means we have already discussed what is the front end. It provides us the GUI concept. GUI concept means graphical user interface to interact with the cloud. Means how to interact with the cloud. It provides us the graphical interface. Means how to deal with the different icons are there through which we can request to the cloud. This is the graphical user interface. Now, next part is application. Means through the applications, we can access to particular whatever we want to access. We can access the particular information. Now, application may be any software or a platform that a client wants to access. Now, what you have to do? Client infrastructure or application are the part of the front end part. Means through which we can access. Either we can access through the particular application because it is a software, or it is a platform through which the client want to access. So first, the client will request to the particular server through the application or the infrastructure. Okay, so it will access through the graphical user interface. Wait a minute. What is happening? Okay, it It can be accessed through the particular software or a platform through which the client want to access. Now, it provides the different services. It manages the services. Means what service you want to access. It can be also handled through the front end. Means we will explore the different services first. Then we can access according to the requirement. Means if we needed the application requirement, if we needed the software requirement, according to that only we will access. We will grant the permission through the service through the cloud provider. Now, it provides the different services. As we know that it is a part of a service, means client infrastructure is accessing the different services. So what type of services we are having? It manages the what type of services. So mainly we are having the three type of services. This is the software as a service. Means it is also known as the cloud application services. Means it provides the different applications, like it provides the software as a service. Means whatever the softwares, whatever the applications are there which are running through the web browsers, means which you do not require to download and install these applications. So some of the important example we can say of the software as a services, Google apps, through which we are having we don't need to install this application. We can easily access through our laptop, through our PCs, through our mobile phones. So these are the different applications which are the example of your software as a service. Then we comes to Salesforce Dropbox, where we can store our many pictures, many images we can storage. As you all know that in nowadays we are having a memories of as a pictures only. Means where we go to explore the travel, to explore the restaurants. We used to click the number of pictures, number of memories we used to create. So we always store that particular storage into the particular devices. So many of the time it get full. So Dropbox is a example of a software as a service where we can store our images. We can keep our images over there safely and securely. We can put our videos over there. So we can use this particular services. These are the various example of your software as a service. Then we are having Slack, HubSpot, Cisco, WebEx. These are the example of us as a software as a service. WebEx is like a Zoom Meet example. So these are the various applications which directly run on the web browser. You need not to you don't require to download and install these applications. Got the point? Now, then we are having as a platform as a service. Means whatever this application we are using, application services we are using. So to create that applications, to create the softwares, we require a platform. So how we will get that platform? And for that, it is a large amount of storage capacities needed in our laptop or a desktop where we want to build this particular software's application. So cloud computing provides us a platform as a service in which we don't need any platform. It provides the platform where we can access through the internet without need of any platform. But the difference is that we can easily create our softwares. We can easily create our application without any runtime environment. We don't. It already provided by the service provider. So these are the various example of your platform as a service, like the Windows Azure, where we can use the cloud computing architectures. Magento, Commerce, Cloud, OpenShift. These are the various example of your platform as a service. Now, coming to the last services of your cloud computing architecture, that is it provides the various services that we are going to discuss. That was the infrastructure as a service. Over here, we are already only discussing about the various example and what the services is. So, what is the infrastructure as a service? Which provide the infrastructure services, like it manages the application data or the environment. Means we already having the software as a service where we are having the applications. To build that application, we need the platform. So it also provides the platform as a service. Then we need an infrastructure. So this infrastructure as a service is also provided to us through the cloud computing services. That is the infrastructure as a service where we are having a runtime environment. We can say that. So these are the various popular example of your runtime environment is Amazon Web Services, that is the AWS, EC2, Google Compute Engine, that is the GCE, and the Cisco Matterport. These are the popular example of your infrastructure as a services. So these are the services provided by the cloud computer architecture. Then we are having the component is runtime cloud. What do you mean by the runtime cloud? Means whatever the services we are using, the execution of that particular services or the execution of the virtual machines we are creating, because these data is already accessing through the virtual machines only. We are creating the virtual machines so that we can easily access the particular informations, particular data through the virtual machines, or it provides us the execution and the runtime environment to the virtual machine. So this is the runtime cloud. That was the basic component of your cloud computing architecture. Then it also provides the basically next component is storage. That is the most important component of your cloud computing architecture. Now it provides the use amount of storage capacity. Means it is the benefit, as I have already mentioned, that it is the most popular benefit of the cloud computing is it provides the huge amount of storage capacity. So where to store that data, how to manage this particular data, and how to secure that data. This also provides it is provided through the component as storage. So this is the important component. Next, we are having the infrastructure. So it provides the services on the host level, application level, and the network level. It provides the infrastructure resources at the various levels. Like we can say that the application level where we create our application or the software, and the network layer means in the environment through which the data is going, and through that particular networks or the particular routers it is accessing the data. So this is how the services are provided at the various levels. So cloud infrastructure also includes the various components like the hardware and the softwares too. Means in the hardware components we can have in the servers, and we can have the network level. So in the software components such as servers, storage, and the network devices, plus the virtualization softwares. Means what in the form of VMware, we are having a virtualization software through which we can easily access our particular information through the different operating systems. So this is how the cloud computing architecture provides the infrastructure to support the various module. Now, next component is the management. Means we are having the different components like the runtime environment, storage, infrastructure. To manage all these components, to manage all these application and the communication between these components, there is a requirement of the management to manage all these components. So there is a requirement of a management component. So it is used to manage the components like the application, services, runtime environment, storage, infrastructure, and the other security issues in the backend. These are the components of the backend only, that the management and the infrastructure. This is how to provide the coordination between these all the components, the management component is used basically. Then we are having the security component. This is the we can say that the backend component of the cloud computing. So it is to implement the security mechanism in the backend. Whatever algorithms, how the data will be get secured, because large amount of data is stored at the cloud. So how the security will manage, and through which mechanism it will follow at the backend, through that will be accessed through the security component. So these are the various components of your cloud computing architecture. Then that is the main component is that is internet. The internet is a medium through which the front end and the back end component can interact with each other. So this is the very important factor in this cloud computing architecture. Once we will just go through last the architecture of the particular wait a minute. This was the architecture. So this is how we have discussed about all the architectures. This was the internet where it communicate between the front end and the back end, and these are the various components of your backend part where we are having our applications, services, runtime, cloud, storage, and the infrastructure. It manage all these components through the management component, and it provides the security through the security components. So this is the basic architecture of your cloud computing architecture. Now, just discuss about the various concepts of the basic concepts of the cloud computing architecture. Could you find a way to let me down slowly? A little sympathy, I hope you can show me. These are the basic concepts in which we are having the two parts. We are having a deployment models and the service models. Uh, it provides the certain services and the working behind this particular cloud computing, whether it will be feasible and accessible to the end users or not. So we are having the two working models, that is the deployment models and the service model. So in the service deployment model, we are having a different type of clouds in which we are having a public, private, and the community and the hybrid cloud. Means we are having a different types of a cloud. We can say that in the public cloud, we can say that same infrastructure is used by the many users over the internet or the public network. As we all know, whenever we are discuss about the public, so it is accessed by everyone. No permission is over there. No security concepts is there. So in public means we can access to the and it is accessed by the anyone over the cloud, over the internet. So this is the basic type. Then we are having a private, which is used by the user's premises. For example, if I'm working in the AKGEC or any company, so it will be accessed through the in this particular organization only. So it is exclusive for the particular end users or specific for the particular user. In the community, we can consider as the groups of users with the similar concern, in which group of users means like we can say that the multiple group of users are there. In the hybrid, we are offering both the combination of the public and the private cloud. We will discuss it about the one by one, how the differences is there, how it will work, and how the resources are made to the cloud consumer. So this is the deployment model, which define the different type of access of the cloud, how the cloud is located, and how to access means how you can access to the through the particular clouds. These are the various type already discussed. Now, if I'm talking about the public cloud, it is easily accessible to the general public. Means it is available to all. It may be less secure because of its openness, but it is access to the all. Now, next consider to the private cloud. It allows the system and services to be accessible within an organization. It is more secure because of its private nature. Now, coming to the community cloud, it allows the system and services to accessible by a group of organization. It provides to access through the group of organizations. We can say that the various MNCs have a different headquarters, different branches. So it can be accessed through that particular branches. Then we are having a hybrid cloud, which is a mixture of both public and the private, in which according to the requirement, the user acts like that particular services. Means the services are provided according to the requirement. These are the advantages. Means it is available to everyone in the public cloud. Anyone can go and sign up for the services. Then in the public cloud, economies of the scale due to the size. Then these are the some of the public cloud concern. It provides the ownership. It requires the control, regulatory compliance, data application security, liability to the SLE breaches. Means whatever the agreement we are having. So it is the liability that it can be break. So this is how the public cloud works. Then we are having this is the various users which can access to the public cloud. Now then we are having a private cloud. Private cloud in which the cloud infrastructure is built in the house. It retains the control of the resources. It is more secure, more private. It can uh, it can conform to the regulatory requirements, needs the capital investment. It requires the expertise to build and maintain the particular cloud. It works under the particular organization. This is how the private cloud works. This is the on-site private cloud. This is the outside outsourced private cloud, in which we are having a particular network. Through that network, only the particular cloud can access the things. Now, next is hybrid cloud, which is the combination of both the public and the private. That is the public and the private is the combination of both. So best of both workload is deployed mostly on the private cloud. Then we are having the resources can be used from the public cloud where there is a surge in a peak cloud burst. Then we are having a this is the combination, right? Then last, that is the community cloud, in which we are having a group of organizations to use that. These are the group of organizations that can access the particular services through their missions. They can access to this security requirement, different policies that can be considered. So this is how the community cloud works. That's all for today's presentation. We will discuss about the service models in the next lecture. So thank you and good luck.